Welcome to another edition of Highlander News. I'm Carter.
And I'm Kendra. Math teacher Mr. Hansen had a busy coaching career.
Reporter Coy Griebel brings you the story.
Geometry and math teacher Mr. Hansen has kept himself busy throughout his time of teaching. His first 2 years he spent in Drayton, North Dakota.
And I coached junior high football, and that was it for that. I was actually the prom director, so I had to run the prom for the 2 years that I was in Drayton. That was part of my contract I had to sign.
After Drayton, Mr. Hansen taught in Colum, North Dakota.
And I taught there for 1 year, and I coached girls basketball. They needed someone in the school system to coach, and they just asked me to be there. So I actually coached girls basketball for 1 season. And then I coached track, mostly the jav and the shot and the discus.
Following his basketball and track coaching in Colum, Mr. Hansen got his now job at Valley City High School.
Then my third year here in 10 and 11, Coach Larson asked me if I wanted to help out with wrestling. And I said, absolutely. My brother-in-laws were wrestling, and I was enjoying it and liked watching it. 1 year, my first year of coaching wrestling, I coached football, wrestling, and baseball, all 3 sports all year long, and that was pretty difficult to do. So the next year is when I resigned from football and I just did wrestling and baseball. And then a couple years later, Mr. Watterson retired and Mr. Murray needed another golf coach, an assistant golf coach. So I did that for a couple years. Then he resigned from coaching golf, so then I took over the boys' head golf job.
He has also been coaching the high school trap team since its establishment in 2016. He also coaches for the Valley City Express Wrestling Club, helping develop youth wrestlers into high school athletes. Mr. Hansen is a caring and passionate coach who has helped many athletes love their sport and accomplish their goals.
You know, you feel like you're actually out there on the mat with them. You feel like you are participating in the activity, and you feel like everything that you've done as a coach up until that time, whether it was week-long or 2 weeks long or from the beginning of the season, you feel like that you've prepared that person for that moment.
For Highlander News, this is Coy Griebel.
A few weeks ago, the 3rd grade at Jefferson Elementary had a concert.
Reporter Carly Govan brings you the story.
The 3rd graders put on their program Pirates tonight. They put a lot of work into that. We typically start rehearsing for our programs 7 to 8 weeks in advance is what I've kind of found to be the hot spot, where they're still fresh when they're performing the pieces, but they're not. We don't necessarily want them the most comfortable they've ever been with them either, because I've noticed that's when we start speeding up, when we get really comfortable with things too. So 7 to 8 weeks is when they start rehearsing. We hold auditions. So we had 3 soloists in this musical, and everyone that was interested in having one of those parts got to audition. Then we narrowed it down to those 3 soloists, and they did a phenomenal job, and it was super great experience for them. And just all the other students put in so much work getting ready for all of their songs. All the speaking parts, they had to audition for those as well. Lots of practicing at home as well as in the music room. Combined rehearsals with all the 3rd grade classes in the gymnasium and my room as well. So there's a lot that goes into the program, setting up for the program even too, just getting all the chairs ready and all the people that have to help to make it all a success.
Reporting for Highlander News, this is Carly Govan.
After taking over for Mrs. Shenenko a few weeks ago, Mr. Milbrandt gave up his class for the hour.
Reporter Kayana Puckett brings you the story.
So I understand that you would like me to make a few things clear today that Mr. Milbrandt wasn't able to do for you. Well, when I got the lesson, I looked at the objective, and I'm going to read it to you. Recognize that sequences are functions sometimes defined recursively whose domain is a subset of the integers. That's not even English. That makes no sense to me at all. So I had to try to figure this out and then show up in the math classroom, and I still didn't get it even when I was standing in front of the room. He multiplied it at the rate of 1 of, I don't know what's going on. And I had to spend my weekend thinking about that, and I don't even know half of the words. Why is this so tall? I'm kind of a tall person, and who uses this every day? Mr. Milbrandt. Okay. Yeah, I need a chair. Okay. Do you use a stool? Okay, now back up, and you add 1 and 2, and you get? 3. 3, okay, yes, yes. Right, what is your name?
Yes.
Gavin, you're doing great. Gavin, doing great. My favorite part was that there is one right answer in math. So when I'm teaching English and people give me answers, I have to stand and be the judge of, is that kind of right? Is that more right? And there's a variety of right answers, but in math, there's just one. That is such a relief, and we do not have that kind of certainty at all in the English world. Last term is -5 minus 8. What do you have?
Sorry? That's a really good question.
That was not correct, Aiden. That wasn't the right answer. No, it wasn't easier than teaching English. It was much harder, and math teachers have to stand up there and explain the concept, and then they have to think, while everyone is staring at them, they have to do math in their head and keep teaching the lesson while calculating in their head, and I can't do that. It was not easier than teaching English at all. Okay, I think we've got it. I think my work here is done. I've taught you a vast fragment of what I know about math, but I see that I've enlightened you greatly. My experience overall was, I don't want to teach math ever again, actually.
Reporting for Highlander News, this is Kayana Puckett.
Have you ever wondered how many chicken nuggets you could eat?
Reporter Tucker Johnson figures out his limit.
Okay, today we are doing the chicken nugget challenge. I have to thank my sponsors, Miss Elliott. She graciously donated this chicken nuggets, and I will try to get through as many chicken nuggets as possible without me dying or throwing up. And we are now placing bets on how many chicken nuggets I can eat.
I think he's going to eat 40 chicken nuggets.
I think he's going to eat 80.
I think he's going to eat 27. I think he's going to eat 34. I think he's going to eat 45.
I think Tucker's going to eat 56 chicken nuggets.
We're going to start her off here.
Are we doing a timer?
A timer?
Do you know how long it takes? How long? You have 10 minutes to eat 80 chicken nuggets.
First bite, gotta say, I love chicken nuggets. Sweet and sour sauce is the way to go, gotta say. Sweet and sour and ranch, and also tangy barbecue and honey mustard. But
The first 3 boxes you have to down. And you can take your time.
the 40th nugget is a milestone. I would highly recommend not eating above 20 nuggets. The point? Bad. Box number 4, done. I need to find the smallest nugget in here. The sauces aren't even tasting good anymore.
Foresee you being able to eat another one?
I think I've almost hit my wall, but there is a strategy I have. It's coming in right now.
Here you are, sir.
Trying to bump you. I'll inform you if I eat those last 2 nuggets. But thank you for coming, and for reporting from Highland News, this is Tucker Johnson.
Learning to bake is a vital skill for everyone. Kids' baking classes were offered for elementary students.
Reporter Karina Olson brings you the story.
So the Kids Baking School is an NDSU curriculum, and we're going to meet 4 times this week, and we're going to learn all about baking. So they're going to be learning pancakes, and they'll be learning about carbon dioxide and the food science behind making a pancake. We'll be learning about yeast breads, so they'll be making their own pizza crust, so they'll be able to do some experiments with gluten in bread while they're making the yeast bread. We're going to be making flour tortillas, so they'll be practicing rolling things out. And then the last day we're going to make scones, which is a quick bread, so they're going to be experiencing that. So these are all life skills when they're in the kitchen that they'll be able to put to use when they're adults. So we actually have all elementary school ages, so 1st grade all the way through 6th grade. And sometimes in the summers when we've held our cooking class, we've divided it up into the older elementary and then the younger elementary as well. But this time we decided we would just have all the grades come together. And it's been great because the older kids can teach the younger kids as well. We've been having cooking schools for about 13 years. We used to run them in the summertime, and we would sometimes run them in June, sometimes run them in August, and we would be cooking up a storm. So maybe we'd be cooking 3 or 4 things in a morning or 3 or 4 things in the afternoon. This one's a little different because we've put a twist on it, and now we're doing a baking school. So we're teaching life skills through baking.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Karina Olson.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Highliner News. I'm Carter.
And I'm Kendra.